The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play Underdog, pick them for a chance to win 100x. Promo code SGPN at UnderdogFantasy.com for a 100% deposit match. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use code SGPN to get off your first month and start making smarter bets today. We're also brought to you by the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. Enter their free Daytona 500 contest for a chance to win $100 cash and a $100 SGPN gift card at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Daytona. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Me, the voices of the guys. Me, Villain Rail, Terrell, Furman Jr. here at your service. Whoa, I don't have the drops ready today. Let's correct that. Shout out to the Chicago Bulls last episode. Made my day. Atlanta sucks. Steve Reichel here. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beam me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, doing pretty well. I had a decent show yesterday. Ended up losing the lock. I had the Pistons plus 10.5. They lost by 14. But I had Markelle Fultz over 3.5 rebounds, a plus rebounds in the first quarter. So that was never in doubt. But can't complain. Hopefully we'll sweep here on Wednesday.
Definitely looking for a sweep on a massive 13-game slate here. And Scott, this is really no time to recap or talk about anything else. We just got to get into the slate here. First up on the docket, 7 p.m. on the East Coast, we have the Miami Heat traveling on a back-to-back, going to play the Philadelphia 76ers. 76ers open up -5. They're currently -3.5. 225 is the total. Injury report here for these two teams. And I have for the Miami Heat, well, as much as I can tell you, Jimmy Butler is going to be out for personal reasons. No Terry Rozier, no Josh Richardson. They were really struggling in the backcourt yesterday, but it didn't matter. They didn't miss a shot. It felt like they didn't miss a shot. They absolutely bulldozed the Milwaukee Bucks as, what were they, 8-point dogs?
I thought it was like 9. I thought it was like 9 or something like that. But yeah, it was around that ballpark.
Yeah. I think it opened up there. It closed at 7.5, it looks like, but didn't need the points. Not at all. Philadelphia 76ers, no Tobias Harris, no Kyle Lowry, no Nicholas Batum, no Joel Embiid, D'Anthony Melton, Robert Covington still out.
But they beat Cleveland last time out somehow.
Hey, man, as 10-point dogs. And I talked about it. I was like, hey, Philly is due. They're due, man. And they got the win as a 10-point dog against Cleveland. Now they're at home playing the Miami Heat. And Miami Heat, favorable position as an underdog, but they also did play yesterday. Let me see what they do on no rest. But what you like here today?
Well, this one's a bit tricky because Miami was up by a lot, so they could have potentially coasted in the fourth quarter of that game. But you always have to worry about the potential, I'd say, fatigue when you're a bit shorthanded, and a lot of guys, including Kevin Love, for example, have to play a decent amount of minutes. It was very solid last night. I think for this one, I am going to lean to Philly in this spot. I like what I saw against Cleveland. The game came down to the wire, but it really shouldn't have. They were up by, I think it was like 8 or 7 with like 40 seconds left, and then they almost choked the game away. But Miami dominated last night. They played basically a perfect game. You mentioned how they couldn't miss a shot the entire day. I expect some regression, and I do think that Philly with Maxey and with the other options they have, Oubre was pretty good in that Cleveland game. I just think it's a good spot for people to jump on Miami after they shot the ball insanely well last night, and they kind of underachieve. But I'm going to lean to Philly. It's the last game, I think, before the All-Star break for both teams. So Miami might already be looking ahead to the potential All-Star break.
Oh,
Philly,
that's a good point. I forgot about that. Let's see if that is.
I'm pretty sure this is Miami's last game before the All-Star break. So
yeah, they're on a back-to-back. Yep, Miami does not come back until my birthday, the 23rd. So we won't see Miami till the 23rd. Won't see Philly till the 22nd.
Yeah, but I think Philly might end up showing up for this home game. But Miami just had a massive win against a rival, if you want to call Milwaukee a rival. Then they
Mm-hmm.
won that game. Against Philly up next, you can argue it's a rivalry game as well, but it wouldn't shock me if Miami kind of underachieved after having such a perfect game against Milwaukee on
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday. I'm going to lean Philly. I think it's pretty interesting that with both teams being injured to hell and back, the Sixers are still favored by three and a
Mm-hmm.
half, even though Miami just beat Milwaukee by about 30. I'm going to lean to Philly in the spot.
Of the 26 teams playing today, the Warriors, the Jazz, and the Grizzlies. Yes, Warriors, Jazz, and Grizzlies. Those are the only three teams that are playing a back to back tomorrow. So they have one more game. Everybody else is going into the All-Star break. It's a good point to think about how everybody else is going to the All-Star break. So maybe some people that say, all right, we're done. We're done. We'll see you next week. All right. I'm I want to go Philly with you, but if I fade Miami as a dog and it comes back to bite me, I'm really gonna hurt, be sick. But I kind of want to go Philly with you. 2-4 ATS. Let me make sure I got that right. 2-4 ATS is the Miami Heat on a back to back this season. Not that 2-4-1 technically. Not that good. I'm not gonna think about it. Just give me Miami as a dog.
All right.
As much as I want Philly to keep this momentum going, especially after beating Cleveland, uh, they're still not that good. Maybe this is you got that good win against Cleveland. They kind of fall off here, and then next week when they come back from the All-Star break, they start looking a lot better. They start implementing some different things. So, all right, I'm gonna go with Miami. Not really a good feel on that one. I think this one is a little bit closer than 3.5. So maybe we get a 1-2 point win by Philly here. 225 is the total. Anything there?
I think I'm going to lean under, but nothing really that strong. I just expect to see a bit of a slower pace game, especially if you're going to have Kevin Love and company suiting up for a decent amount of minutes. I'm going to lean under, but nothing that strong. Just a hunch.
All right. Yeah. I was on the under yesterday, Cash, for the Miami Heat. I'll back it again here. No, I'm kind of concerned because Philly's defense is really bad right now. What if they allow Miami to score? If they allow, because Miami, what if Miami just keeps up that shooting? I'm actually
I mean,
kind of tempted by,
if Miami keeps up the shooting, they're winning the game. Like it's pretty
yeah,
difficult to,
but I took
lo-
Miami.
yeah. I'm just saying in general. So if Miami ends up winning this game, they probably score. What do you think? Like 117, maybe,
Yeah, I
give or
think it's
take.
very similar to what they did last night. I think they had 123 last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's around that 117 to 120 range. Let's see. Four of the last five have gone under for the Miami Heat. Oh wow, three of the last five have gone under for the Philadelphia 76ers. So, but they haven't had a total this low. 225 is super low for them. Yeah, I think I'm leaning a little bit closer to a Miami Heat team total over.
Well,
All
I
right.
mean, by the way, according to I see somebody asking if the over under got there. Uh, Eric's asking that. Yeah, the under got there. The Bucks game yesterday was at 223.5. Game line to 220. So the under
Yeah.
did get there. But
All right.
you have any player props you like? I mean, I thought about going to Oubre because
Mm-hmm.
I know that Strutter's mentioned in the comment section that he's played at least 39 minutes in 3 straight games. He was very
Uh-huh.
good against Cleveland, but the point is somebody's going to have to score for Philly, and I do think that Oubre gets the minutes, so I think he's in line for a good game. I see Bam's points are set at 22.5. He's gone under in 10 straight. He had a bunch of assists last night, but he really didn't do much when it comes to scoring. He didn't need to. He only had 16 points. But I do think 22.5 feels a bit high for a guy that's gone under in 10 straight and under in 17 of 19 games. So I'm going to lean under on Bam points. I think he could have a big impact without having a massive scoring output. So give me a similar score line to last night. Maybe not the assists, but maybe Bam goes for like 18 and 12, something like that. But 22 and a
Mm-hmm.
half for a guy that's gone under in 17 of 19, that line seems a bit too high to me. I'll link to Bam under for points.
All right. Uh
You have
I don't
Anything
really.
else
This
you
is an
want
ugly one. Yeah, I don't really have
to?
anything else. This is an ugly one. I don't really have any props or anything. I'm kind of because I don't know what Philly is. Like I want to back Philly again after that Cleveland game, but it could be a one off. I really just felt like they were due that last game. It really wasn't a handicap to it. So I'm still trying to figure out this Philly team as of right now. But
I
they
might be
added
tempted by
scoring,
Buddy Hield props. Buddy Hield was really good in that
and
game
he
against
plays. He
Cleveland.
plays a lot.
Yeah, but
I think at this point we're getting to the Nick Nurse. I'm just gonna play everybody, all 5 guys, 40 minutes, and then everybody else fit in where you get in.
I don't really know what else they're supposed to do, though. You're looking at the roster, you kind of have to play everybody else a lot of minutes.
hmm hmm Everybody talking about Bam props, Bam props. He
I
might go
lean to
over
an
today.
under, so read into that how you want to.
All right. Before we get into the rest of the slate, got to talk to you about the Daytona 500 contest. Rev up those engines for the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. Rod and Cody are breaking down the Daytona 500. They do trucks, they do Cup, they do IndyCar, they do F1. It gives you everything you need. Enter their free Daytona 500 contest for a chance to win $100 SGPN gift card and $100 cash. Come on, it's a free contest that you can win money. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/Daytona. That's SportsGamblingPodcast.com/Daytona. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Tap in with the NBA, NHL, college basketball, simply picking your favorite players higher or lower on their fantasy stats and cash in. You can win 100x with the spicy plays. We're playing an underdog lineup at the end of the show, so make sure you tap into that. When you sign up and use promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. No, that's NBA SGPN. I'm sorry. NBA SGPN is that promo code. NBA SGPN Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code NBA SGPN. All right. Next game on the slate, Scott. New York Knicks on the road going to play the Orlando Magic. Orlando opened up -1, currently -3.5. 211.5 is the total. Holy crap. Is this 2024? 211.5 is the total. Injury report for these two teams. And we have Dante DiVincenzo is questionable with a hamstring. Isaiah Hartenstein is questionable with an Achilles. We know no Julius Randle, no OG, no Mitchell Robinson. And for the Orlando Magic, Markelle Fultz is TBD, injury maintenance. They are on a back-to-back after playing the Oklahoma City Thunder last night, where the Thunder were able to get it done in Orlando. Now on a back-to-back, Orlando is 5-5 this season. 5-5 on no rest this season for the Atlanta Magic ATS. Scott, I feel like the win-loss is something absurd though. Let me go look at that real quick. I'm pretty sure I saw something absurd in the win-loss column. Win-loss for the Atlanta Magic. It is 2-8 straight up. 2-8 straight up, 5-5 ATS for the Orlando Magic on a back-to-back here. What are you doing?
Well, I'm going to ask you because you're the Knicks fan. Can your team actually beat the Magic for once?
I think so here.
Okay.
And it's really because they got fleeced in Houston. Like, it is really, really bad how bad they got gypped in Houston. It's pretty annoying.
Well, how much do you want to actually read into that game, just to ask? Because besides the foul at the last second, the Knicks kind of showed a decent portion of that game. I
No,
know
they
Houston's
didn't.
a good home team.
I don't agree
Early
with
on,
that.
they did. Then they bounced back and they
No,
came
I
back
don't
in the
agree with
second
that.
half.
They weren't getting calls the entire game. How are you in it and you're playing 5-on-8? Like
That's fair.
it was the three, what was it? It was 33-12. I'm pretty sure it was 33-12 or something absurd like that was the free throw disparity between the Rockets and the Knicks. And it wasn't like the Knicks weren't driving to the lane. Brunson was going to the lane consistently and not getting calls. So he's
Yeah,
not getting
fair
the
point.
calls on his end, and then you call some bullshit as foul on a last second. Patrick Mahomes freaking throw it
Jump
up
pass.
at the rim and
Yeah.
just pray something happens. Like, come on, that's bullshit. Like, the free throw disparity was horrible. The officiating was horrible throughout the entire course of the game, and I just think that the Knicks come out for blood today.
Well, I do want to ask you, though, with the Knicks potentially being motivated after what happened in Houston, do you think they have enough bodies? Because we already know Randall's out. The offense has been a little bit hit or miss recently, mostly miss. DiVincenzo's been really good for you, and he might not play. So I guess what I'm asking is if Orlando is able to make life difficult for Brunson.
Uh-huh.
Do you think they have enough? Because I'm not sure they do, which might be why this total's so low. I'm going to lean Orlando. I faded them yesterday with OKC. I didn't think that they'd be able to keep up offensively with OKC. I just don't know if I can trust the Knicks. Josh Hart played the entire second half against Houston. He should. He's a very good player. But Brunson played most of the minutes in that game. Hardenstein might not play either. There's just so many injuries. Like, I just feel like you're looking at a spot where I'm going to lean to Orlando. They're 2-0 against the Knicks this season. We expect a physical, grinded out type game. So it might come down to the wire. But I have more faith in Orlando's offensive weapons right now than the Knicks's if DiVincenzo doesn't play. I understand Bojan can maybe step up and have a bigger game. He was pretty good in that second half, especially the fourth quarter against Houston. So maybe him and Burks can have a moment or two. But I think I'm going to lean to Orlando. You mention this all the time. Orlando tends to do very well against the Knicks, and it's been the case for the last couple of years. I'm going to lean to Orlando.
Yeah, they definitely have their spots where they get up and really hoop against the Knicks, and it's actually pretty annoying. And if there was a team that I didn't want to play after this game, it is the Orlando Magic. But I just think that this is a spot where I think Jalen Brunson is going to be able to have a game. I think this is the spot where he's able to have a game. Probably a lot of pick and roll, trying to get Jalen Suggs off of him, and a lot of attacking the bigs and going to the basket and getting to the fucking free throw line this time. Like, oh, God damn.
Well, that's one thing to ask. After what happened in Houston, do you think that there's an unwritten agreement to have some
refs? Let's play
makeup whistles? I'm going to assume it's not Ed Malloy after what happened in Houston. I'm going to assume it's not Ed Malloy.
All right, let's see here. NBA ref report for tonight.
I don't know if they announced it already.
How the fuck do you even say this guy's name? What the fuck? Scott, you just go look. And if you want to say his name, you can.
While I pull that up, you can continue. But I'm going to lean to Orlando. I am going to lean to the under in this game. I know it's a low total, but the last meeting ended up landing 192. I just expect to see a defensive war here. So I'll lean to the under in this game.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a makeup whistle, though, for the Knicks?
Yeah.
Not to get full conspiracy theory here,
I do.
But we got to talk about it.
I do. Because the league admitted it was the wrong call. The refs admitted it was the wrong call. Like, it's right before the All-Star break when everybody thinks everybody's not paying attention. I 100% think there's going to be some makeup calls. I actually, for underdog, Jalen Brunson free throws made. I know it's not up there now. It'll be up there later. I'm playing his free throws made today. I think he's going to get the calls.
By the way, I forgot to mention before, Scott Foster is on assignment in the Miami-Philly game. So we got a Scott Foster sighting today.
Really? I did not notice.
I don't know if that applies to anybody, like, record-wise, but Scott Foster will be there. So there we go.
All right. Let's see here. I slightly lean to the under, but I really more like Knicks team total over because I just think that the whistles are going to be there today. It would I'm really, really shocked that we didn't get another data rant in the post press conference because it was warranted. Strutters also said earlier, Reichel wasn't this what did he say? Wasn't as passionate about the Knicks until they were winning. Yeah, man, I done been through too many bad seasons where, like, at this point, the bad seasons are numb to me. Like, it's just numb. When the Knicks are playing bad, I really don't feel any type of way. I can only feel good if they're playing well. But
I'm going through that now with the Nets. So
yeah, you got to be. Hey, man, some of us are used to losing, so we enjoy when we win now, every now and then. Oh, trust me, I don't. Everybody else is saying that the Knicks win the finals. I haven't said that, but I'm very, very close to putting in a Knicks finals bet, though. Very, very close. I just would like to see some more of these people healthy. That's all I would ask. All right. Let's see here. Player props. Anything else to add to this game before we go?
Not really. I probably like the rebounds for a couple players in this game because if Hardenstein is questionable, give me a Chua rebounds. Like, I feel like I kind of have to. What do you have? 16 rebounds against Houston. I don't think he's a good player in terms of talent, but he rebounds well. So I do think he's going to be in line for a good stat line. Maybe if you want to go Josh Hart rebounds, that's always a good move, especially if DiVincenzo is going to be out. So maybe if you want to go for Josh Hart RA, if you think he might get some more assists with DiVincenzo potentially not playing, I think his props are worth a look. But I do think you're going to end up seeing Banchero probably have a decent game, maybe for rebounds or assists. I know he had a double-double with assists last night, so that could be worth a look. But I think it's mostly going to be a Chua rebounds or Hart rebounds and assists as my main 2 plays for this game. You have anything?
Yeah, that Jalen Brunson. I think Jalen Brunson is going to bounce back, even though Suggs is the matchup, and I know that's what everybody's looking at. I think that they're going to a lot of pick and roll, get Suggs off of him, make him attack the bigs, get inside the paint, get to the foul line. So I'm waiting on that free throws made prop. JR likes Josh Hart threes today. He thinks that's the play. Did I see anybody else in the chat drop something on this one before? I see Wendell Carter Jr. under 7.5 rebounds. Over only hit in 2 of the last 9. Strutter said, I am 100% with that because Wendell Carter Jr. he might make the ban list. He might make the ban list, honestly. I don't think I can ever take another Wendell Carter Jr. over. Like, there's been too many good matchups over the past 2-3 weeks that I feel like I backed him in and he sold me. So
yeah, I think Patrick Beverly called them out and then Wendell forgot how to play after that.
Yeah, like pretty yeah, I think that was the catalyst. That might have been the catalyst. All right. Before we get to the next game of the slate, got to talk to you about Hall of Fame bets, NBA season. Bet bigger with the NBA season with Hall of Fame bets. Research everything in the NBA and soccer with historical stats and data. Plus, you have the revolutionary parlay optimizer tool. Green. That's what you want to see. And you can get your expected probability for your entire parlay. It can sort out all the players by hit rate and just give you everything you need to make the most informed bet you can. Stop betting in the dark and join the over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame bets. Download the Hall of Fame bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame bets. All right. The Atlanta Hawks are somehow, some reason, some way laying 7.5 on the road against Charlotte Hornets. 238.5 is the total. That total's actually come down from 241.5, believe it or not. Injury report here for the Atlanta Hawks, and we got Patty Mills is available to play. Onyeka Okongwu is out. Clint Capella is out. Wesley Matthews is out. AJ Griffin is out. And for the Hornets, Cody Martin is probable. LaMelo Ball is out. Mark Williams is out. Scott, Onyeka Okongwu is out for 7 to 10 days. Bruno Fernando season in Atlanta. Maybe. He might play 8 minutes and then they decide that they just want to go small for the rest of the game. What are you doing here?
Hornets money line.
Thank you. I am glad that we could just go ahead and say that and get that out the way. I don't know how you're willing to play Atlanta.
I don't think you can. Trae Young was objectively bad last game against Chicago. He had 14 assists, but he couldn't shoot the ball to save his life in that game. Him and DeJounte still don't work. I can't believe they didn't make any moves at the deadline. They just decided to go down with the ship for some reason. Maybe they'll just reassess during the offseason. But I don't think that this Atlanta team has made any progress whatsoever throughout the entire season. They still don't guard anybody. Charlotte, for better or worse, maybe it was accidental. They traded Gordon Hayward, and they suddenly became competitive. I don't know what happened there. Trey Mann's actually been decent as kind of their de facto point guard, but I can't lay 7 with Atlanta. This team just isn't good enough defensively for me to want to lay with this team. But Charlotte, you're looking at this team, Bridges. I know he had some charges dropped yesterday. Whatever. Point is, he's still playing in the NBA. He's been very good for the last month. Brandon Miller, we know, is still solid. We saw Micic have a decent game a couple games ago, but Trey Mann's been really good ever since he's been inserted into the starting lineup. We talked about how Okongwu is going to be out. Capella, we know, has been banged up, so I don't really know what the minute distribution is going to be for Fernando. I don't mind his double-double if you think he's going to play 20-plus minutes, but I do think you're looking at a spot where Charlotte at home is being a bit disrespected here. This team might not look great on paper, but they've played pretty well. They beat Indiana a couple games ago. Like, I think that this team's not exactly in bad form. Give me the Hornets. I think they're in line for a good game here.
Eric said, I don't think I've ever heard y'all say money line that quickly. Hey, man.
It's a crazy line.
Hey, man. And the fact that we said it about Charlotte, too, but Bro, I said it was insane to be laying points with Atlanta last time against Chicago, and I faded it as my dog, and we won because Atlanta is a poverty organization, and they're just horrible. Like, they're horrible. Charlotte has won the last 3 meetings between these teams, believe it or not, including the one earlier this season, which
That
is
was a
one
season
of
opener,
Charlotte's
which they won.
which is one of Charlotte's 12 wins this season.
Yeah.
Mindful they're on a winning streak of 2 games. So, like, I questioned it last time. I said, hey, they really got a lot of the nonsense out of there. They add a whole bunch of new players, and those guys just got traded. They got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They want to go hoop and show that they're still about it. So, I mean, yeah, man, I'm backing the new look Hornets over this this Atlanta. Like, I prefer the new look Hornets over this Atlanta Hawks team. I really do. I can't back this Hawks team, and I think that they're going to get killed on boards. Even though I think that there will be opportunity for you to play props on the Atlanta sides. Excuse me, on the Atlanta side with Okongwu out, with Capella out, Nick Richards really should dominate today.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. It's pretty obvious. Charlotte +7. Charlotte on the money line. This line is wrong. This line is completely wrong. I'm fading Atlanta Hawks here. All right. 238.5 is the total. Now, I understand it is Atlanta. But in the past 2 games, Charlotte has given up 102 to Indiana, 106 to Memphis. Impressed by the Memphis one, but the 102 to Indiana is pretty impressive.
Honestly, even 106 to Memphis. I know Memphis isn't a good offensive team, but in today's NBA, that's not that bad.
Yeah, it's really not. It's really not. I can't. I'm not mad at it. It's just like I see Memphis and I think about who was scoring, and I'm like, oh well, okay. But no, I'm really not mad at it. It's been pretty solid defense past 2 games. Kind of want to go under. Let's just do Atlanta team total under.
That's fine. I'll lean over in the game because Atlanta's involved. I'm not really going to overthink it. I said I was blindly going to take overs with Atlanta, and it's going pretty well. But yeah, I don't mind Charlotte team total over maybe if you think that they're going to be competitive.
Yeah,
Charlotte has some guys. Like, they're not exactly a great team, but you look at them and how they've played recently, they're not terrible. There's worse teams out there. They traded Hayward, and suddenly they remember how to play basketball, kind of. So I think Charlotte can score in this game.
I'm telling you, that the trade deadline was the motivation that this team needed. They were horrible before that. Now they look competent in these 2 games. They look competent.
Yep, I agree.
All right, let me see here. I just want to check one more thing. Let's see. In that last game, yeah, that's what I thought. Miles Bridges almost had a triple-double, 20, 10, and 7. You had 21 from Grant Williams coming off the bench. Seth Curry had 18 off the bench. Trey Mann, another huge stat sheet game, 11, 9, and 7. Yeah, I'm sold.
I'm going to go back to Trey Mann props, though. I like his rebounds and assists at 10.5.
I think
that line's too low. Yeah, assists are solid, but I was kind of shocked he had 9 rebounds last game, and I'm not sure who's exactly going to rebound the ball. Should be Nick Richards. He hasn't exactly had many great games against Atlanta recently, partly because of, who the centers have been for Atlanta compared to this game. But I do think you're looking at what should be a decent spot for Trey Mann to keep it rolling. He's played a lot of minutes. The assists could be there. The rebounds could be there. 10.5, though. He's gone over in the last couple games. I don't mind that.
All right. Jalen Johnson and Sadiq Bey are the next leading rebounders for the Atlanta Hawks.
You want to take a shot with
Bey being at 6.5 is still really tempting. So I like Bey at 6.5. I have to go with Richards at 8.5 and Fernando at 7.5. Because if Bruno Fernando has a game, I won't have to play Bruno Fernando double-double.
I don't know it's about a game. I think it's just about minutes. If he plays enough minutes, you should get a double-double.
Yeah,
especially
and that's what I'm saying.
Throwing lobs, yeah.
So Bruno Fernando, what's the official line? Plus 380.
380 is a bargain.
Yeah,
I think that's a very solid deal.
The offense is tailored with him and Trey in the pick and roll.
And Charlotte's not a good rebounding team, so yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah,
380 is a good price.
Yeah, I thought it would be. I didn't think it would be that low. 380, and then Sadiq Bey is like 4 to 1. I would take both of those. I think one of those is a double-double for sure. Jalen Johnson's minus 105. It's not really worth it. Sorry, guys.
That's not worth it.
All right. Let's see. Hayward and Rozier talking about what? Okay. All right. Where's my sheets? Next game on the slate, we have that's Atlanta and Charlotte. Let's get back to where we're at in the order. There we go. Your Brooklyn Nets on the road playing the Boston Celtics. Celtics open up at 13, now 13 and a half to 28 and a half is the total. These two teams are on a back-to-back playing yesterday. Where in Brooklyn this time around, well, that time around at least, and the Celtics did win 118, 110. Depending on where you were, you either won this bet, pushed this bet, or lost because the line hovered between 7.5, 8.5. I think it ended at 8, so it goes on the record as a push, but some people won, some people lost, depends. 13.5 now, Scott.
I mean, it's a lot of points, but the Nets just can't beat this team. Porzingis did not play yesterday, so I'm assuming he's going to suit up in this one. But Al Horford didn't miss a shot in the entire game. He went 6 of 6. Tatum at 41, so Boston shot the ball pretty well. I mean, 13.5 is massive. Boston, I get, is very good at home, but we've seen them stumble covering by margin recently. Lost outright to the Lakers. They barely beat the Wizards at home. I think I'm going to lean to the Nets. 13.5 just feels too steep. I don't know why Boston would go out of their way to humiliate this team. It just feels like Boston's going to get up early. They're going to coast and they'll win this game by like 10. But it's the final game before the All-Star break. I don't see the Celtics completely destroying this team. I think it's going to be close, kind of. Boston wins but doesn't cover. It's kind of been the trend for the last couple of weeks, right? Boston winning but not covering big spreads.
Yep, pretty much. That's why Fate and Celtics here. Nets plus 13.5. Rather easy for me. 228.5 is total.
I mean, yesterday's game landed 228.
228.
So I guess I'm going to lean under.
It's a deja vu game. It's a deja vu game. You got to respect under.
Well, deja vu game as in...
Tatum had 41, didn't he?
Yeah, he had 41.
Yeah. Respect the deja vu game.
And Horford had double digits, so yeah, I'll probably be on the under.
Yeah, they're not doing that. They're not doing that again.
Do you have anything else you want to add?
I just want to checking the box score again, making sure I'm not tripping. Yeah.
Tatum at 41.
Yeah. 41, 19, Jaylen Brown, 16. Everybody all the starters are in double figures. Got nothing from the bench, per usual. Cam Thomas, Kel Bridges, good games. Lonnie Walker. Shout out to Lonnie Walker. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, that's what I felt like happened. So, all right.
I don't think I have any props either. I got basically nothing for this game.
Yeah, it just happened yesterday. You just handicapped it yesterday. Just play the same thing. Trust your gut. All right. I'm really good on that one. You know, I don't like Celtics basketball. Indiana Pacers on the road going to play the Toronto Raptors. Raptors open up -2.5, currently -3.5. Not Raptors. I'm sorry. Indiana. I apologize. Correction there on my part. Indiana opened up -2.5, currently -3.5. 245 is the total injury report here for these two teams. And we have for the Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton is questionable. Miles Turner is questionable. Ben Mathurin is questionable. James Johnson. They have James Johnson listed as out. Like I wasn't expecting that. But James Johnson is out. Jalen Smith is out. And for the Raptors, RJ Barrett is questionable for personal reasons. Indiana's coming off a loss to Charlotte.
I'm just going to ask you directly. Does any part of you actually want to take Toronto? Because it seems bad.
Not really.
Objectively bad.
They got destroyed. They got destroyed in 3 of their past 5, but the last 2 games have been horrible.
Yeah, Wemby had a triple-double with blocks. They lost by 23 at home to the Spurs. So, yeah, Indiana's been fine. I mean, they've lost 2 of 3. Golden State's been on fire, though. They beat the Knicks because Halliburton owns that team, and then they're losing to Charlotte. I'm just going to take Indiana. It's Siakam's first game back in Toronto. Maybe he has a good game. We'll see what happens there. But I just don't think Toronto's any good. I've said it for a while. They're a bad but fun team. Scotty Barnes is leaving the bench early with like 5 seconds on the clock. Pulled the LeBron move where he left early. I don't want to touch Toronto with a 10-foot pole. This team sucks. Like, they're just not very good at basketball. I think that Indiana, after losing to Charlotte, should be motivated. I think Carlisle gets on his guys to make sure that they bounce back. Maybe Siakam has a great game. Maybe he doesn't, but I think Halliburton's going to have a lot of assists anyway. I just don't think Toronto's a good basketball team. So I'll go with Indiana in this one. Maybe Miles Turner blocks if you want to go for a block angle. But I just think that Indiana's the better team, simply put.
Yeah. Like, by far and away the better team. And I mean, at this point, it's getting hard to point out what the Raptors actually do well. Like, at what point would I actually like backing this Raptors team? And it's really, really short by case basis. But they're getting to the point where they can't really score that well. They don't defend at all. They run a slow pace. I mean, don't stop anything inside the paint. Like, there's really, really nothing to like here. And honestly, truly, this should be the situation where the Indiana Pacers run away with it. This is where you start to differentiate yourself from the other teams, from the bad teams in the East, and say, no, we are a playoff team. We are better than them. We are going to blow this team out. They really, really should. I don't know, because their defense is horrible, but they really, really should. I'm going with Indiana here, -3.5. I kind of want to lock it, but I'm not going to. I do like the Pascal Siakam revenge angle, though. So, Indiana for me, and I'm taking an Indiana team total over after losing to Charlotte.
They should look a lot sharper offensively in this game. Do you think this total
only scored
too high, though?
102? This Indiana team, 102. Is that? Wait a minute. Now that I think about it, I mean, I'm sure they probably had a dud where they just didn't show up anywhere. But is 102 their lowest output of the season?
No, I'm sure they've had less than 100 on occasion, but I don't know if Halliburton played in those games, so they might not truly count for this. But while you pull that up, I mean, Indiana, 245.5, though, feels massive to me. I think I'm going to lean under in this game. Toronto scored less than 100 in 2 straight games, less than 108 in 3 straight games. In Indiana, don't get me wrong, they can put up some massive amounts of points, but sometimes they just don't show up offensively. There's a bit too much uncertainty offensively for me with these two teams. I'm going to lean under. I just think this total's a bit high. I think it might be close, but 245.5 feels massive for a total.
Hey, man, this is the lowest out. That was the lowest output of their entire season. They never had a game that was lower than 102. They've had 103, they've had 104, 105. Never anything lower than 102. Lowest output for the entire season.
There was that game where Boston beat them by 50. I wasn't sure if Indiana.
They had 104 in that game. That's the game that's the game I immediately went to. They had 104. Oh man, Charlotte holds Indiana to their lowest total of the season. That's crazy. All right.
You on the over or the under in this game?
I'm on the over. This is a bounce back spot. Indiana team's on over for sure.
Anything you want for props, or should we just move on?
Let's see here.
You like the over, so I'm assuming you're blindly Halliburton assists.
Assists. I will back the Pascal Siakam revenge game for sure. Let's see.
How do you want to back it? You want to go triple-double angle? You want to go rebounds, double-double? What do you have in mind?
I think they really should. He really should get the boards. I think I can back a double. What's the double-double price? I think I can back a double-double today.
Let me check.
Double-double price is 3-1.
Siakam, 3-1. It's 320 if you want to shop around. If you want to go for triple-double, though, and you want to be a lunatic, triple-double for Siakam right now does not exist. So, actually, wait a second. It might exist. I got to adjust some things. No, I don't see it. So, yeah, I don't know. But it might be up there. I could check individually, but the database I'm using doesn't have it. So, let me just check. But double-double at 320, I don't mind that.
Let's see here.
don't know if
I think that the last person I probably would back is Ben Matherin, just because he likes to attack the basket, and Toronto cannot guard the painted area at all.
and Neesmith might be interesting. He's gotten a big
Yeah,
promotion after Buddy Hield got traded.
that's
Maybe
what I
he's
was
worth
looking
a
at,
look,
Matherin
but
and Neesmith as the two slashers that like to get to the ring. All right, let's
yeah,
see
I don't
here.
I don't see Siakam posted for triple double. I only see Barnes and Halliburton, but I can try to build it myself. So just give me a second if I want to do a same game, just for reference.
And Ben Matherin's had some pretty solid games, 15, 21, 15, 5. So probably look for Matherin points today. Have a good game against the Raptors. All
Yeah,
right.
so
Anything else?
Siakam's 6+ assists is plus 360. It doesn't give me 8 or 10. But if you want to go for 10 rebounds, 6 assists, you can find that at 888. You might
All
be able to
right.
find a better line. I can look offshore to see if there's a quick triple-double line, if you want to just give me a second. But, yeah. I don't know if you even think it's possible that he gets a triple-double. I'm just kind of spitballing ideas.
I like it. I like it. Let's see here. I'll back quickly, too. By the way, just throwing it out there.
He's been really bad the last couple games, but maybe he's in line for a bounce back.
I think it's going to go.
Maybe.
I think this is going to be a high-scoring game because as much as I would like Indiana to just completely roll over Toronto, not let them score and put up a high points total, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to let them get at least like 110.
All right.
All right. Next game, we have the Chicago Bulls on the road going to play the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland opened up and it stayed true to -8.5. 222.5 is the total here. Injury report. And we have for the Chicago Bulls, whenever I find there they are. Torrey Craig, probable. Alex Caruso, questionable. Dalen Terry, probable. No Patrick Williams, no Zach LaVine. For the Cavs, Dean Wade, questionable with an illness. All right.
I don't know if I can step in front of Cleveland. I know they lost to Philly their last time out. So you can argue maybe it's a spot to back Chicago because they've been somewhat competitive. They're really not a good road team at all.
Uh-huh.
They beat Atlanta, which means nothing to me because Atlanta's just a laughingstock. So Cleveland's been one of the hottest teams in the league for the last 2 months. So the question is, do you want to actually go against them, or didn't they bounce back after losing to Philly? I'm going to lean to option B. I'm going to lean to Cleveland.
I feel like Cleveland has like 2 losses over the past month.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe they are, what are they, like 17-2 in their last 19?
Yeah,
I
I think
think
it's something like that. I'm pretty
they
sure
faced off 2 times this season. Cleveland's won each meeting by 14+ points. They faced off in January, mid-January in Cleveland. They won 109-91. I just think Cleveland has this team's number, and Chicago's played well recently. They have won 3 of 4, but I do think Cleveland's the better team by a decent margin, so I'm going to lean to Cleveland.
Since the top of the year, Cleveland has lost 3 games.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm going to back Cleveland in a bounce back spot here. I'll lay 8.5. And it's a good way to fade the Bulls. I actually didn't even like taking the Bulls against Atlanta, but it was just really disrespectful because Atlanta sucks. But now I get the chance to fade them again. I will. I'll take Cleveland -8.5. Depending if Caruso plays or not. If Caruso does not play, and they just sit him and say you're done till the over. And I don't know why you would play him at this point. Matter of fact, we should really challenge a lot of those questionable tags. Why would you play them the last game before the All-Star break? Just sit them for the All-Star break, see them when you get back. But I guess people feel like they're competitive and they want to try to win this game. So if Caruso doesn't play, I'll take Cleveland team total over.
I agree. That's what I was going to say. I like the over if Caruso doesn't play because he's easily their best defensive player. Mitchell's had a pretty good career of torching Chicago, so I think he's in line for a good game too. I don't mind Mitchell threes.
Didn't he give them
like
70?
That, but
isn't that who he gave 70?
He gave them 70 last year.
Yeah.
So he has a history of doing well against Chicago. But I am going to lean to the over. I'm going to lean to Cleveland. I just think Cleveland's got too much size on the interior. I think that they have too much talent in general with Garland and with Mitchell. That's good enough for me. I'll lean to the Cavs, 8.5.
All right. We both agree on the total there. I echo your sentiments. Player props. Eddie Eddie's in the chat, so you know who Eddie talking about. Afro Man. Pretty solid. I mean, what was it? What do you have? 20 and 10 last game?
I think so. I know Mobley rebounds has been solid. It's kind of tricky because anytime you have Mobley and Allen together, you have to worry about who's going to take away each other's rebounds. But
Yep.
Mobley's been really good on the glass, just a segue. I know Jared Allen's been good too. But Mobley, if you want to go for his rebounds, you can find his rebounds available at about 9.5. He's gone over in 4 of the last 5. He has gone over in each of the last 3. So you can make an argument for maybe Mobley double-double. The problem is against Chicago, historically, he has not exactly done that well rebounding, but he has not played in either meeting this season. So I don't know if you actually want to draw from that. It's based on last year's numbers. But Mobley rebounds has been good for the last couple weeks. So that's an option as well, if you want to go with it.
I do not see this player listed, which wouldn't make sense. But when he is listed, hopefully he is, I would play Andre Drummond.
Okay.
Because the Bulls very recently, especially when they've been playing the taller teams of the NBA, they have been perfectly fine running out a Vucevic Drummond lineup in different portions of the game and just trying to control the glass. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure, was it last game against the Hawks? They had some type of lineup that was like Drummond, Vucevic, Kobe White, Torrey Craig, and then it was somebody else that's tall as shit too. And I was like, damn, Torrey Craig, Drummond, and freaking Vucevic. I can't remember who's the last person in that lineup, but I remember watching like, damn, this is a tall ass lineup that's on the court right now. So interested to see the rotations for Chicago, but I would play Drummond today because they're gonna need him. They're gonna need him to combat the Twin Towers over there in Chicago. All right. Anything else you got?
Yeah, I mentioned Mitchell before. Chicago's one of the
Can we
worst.
play the drop here? I think we should play the drop here.
Yeah, if you want to. It is a big spread.
Who's got the chalk?
Looking at Mitchell's numbers, by the way, he's had at least 4 threes in 13 of the last 20 games, at least 4 threes in 5 of the last 6. Chicago's one of the worst three-point defenses in the league. So I do like Mitchell for his points. I like those as well. It's at 28.5. He's done well against Chicago. 71, 29, and 34. So he's gone over this number as well. But I like the threes for Mitchell in this game at 3.5.
All right. I love this team. I'm starting to really, really like this team.
Which team?
The Washington Wizards on the road going to play the New Orleans Pelicans. The Wizards went out, got the cover for me. They were winning majority of the game, but in Wizards fashion, they blew the game, of course. But
shout out to Jordan Poole.
Shout out to Jordan Poole. But plus 12 was never in doubt. They got the cover yet again. Scott, it's been, I mean, again, the Phoenix game is really, really like the lone dark spot. But they forced a lot of these games really, really close for like 2-3 weeks and change now. So now we have the Wizards yet again going up against the New Orleans Pelicans in New Orleans. Minus 12.5 for the Pelicans. 235 is the total. That actually came down from 237.5. Injury report for these two teams. And we have for the Washington Wizards, Isaiah Livers is out. For the New Orleans Pelicans, Zion is questionable with a foot injury. Cody Zeller's questionable with the knee. Dyson Daniels is going to be missing some time. Zion was questionable last game. He ended up playing and played 35 minutes at that. So
it wasn't that effective, though. I think he only had like 14 points, but he did play.
Yeah. Zion's just kind of a guy in the league now. Like, I can't remember. Like, we don't even talk about Zion, honestly.
I think he's better than
this games. We really don't talk about him.
He's better than just the guy, but I don't know if I want to group him in the Ingram category, but he's a type of player who people keep expecting to turn into a superstar, and you just know this is who he is.
When's the last time we've had a real Zion discourse on the show? We talk about the Pelicans game and we don't even mention Zion Williamson. Like, imagine us talking about the Warriors and not mentioning Steph.
we were on pace for a decent Zion game against the Lakers because he had like 22 at the half, 25 at the half, and then he scored like 7 points or 8 points in the second half, and he just was completely non-existent. Zion, it just feels like he takes a lot of possessions off. And from my experience of watching the Pelicans, I just feel like he kind of goes through the motions. There's not much basketball IQ there, in my opinion. But Zion is still a solid player. He's just not going to become that superstar guy that they were hoping he'd be. They took him number 1 overall. So I group him with the Ingrams of the world, those kind of guys who can give you a bucket, but you kind of want them to make that superstar leap. And for the most part, they're just not going to do it, which is kind of an interesting coincidence that both Ingram and Zion are on the same team. Maybe you'll agree with me on that, with that comp, not for the actual style of play, but for the flaw with their game. This is who they are. You feel like they've kind of plateaued. That's kind of my point. You agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm assuming you're on Washington because this team's actually been competitive lately.
Oh yeah, 5 of their last 6, they've covered this line.
I agree with you on the Wizards. I think 12.5 is too big. I took the under overnight at 236.5. It's now at 235.5, even 235. I don't know if Zion's going to play in this game. You mentioned before in the last game, a lot of teams, you don't know who's actually going to let the players play if they're questionable because of the All-Star break up next. Zion's the best case scenario of why the hell would we play this guy. So it would not shock me if Zion is a late scratch for this matchup. But I like the under. I like the Wizards. Give me a pretty ugly game. The Pelicans defensively have been great lately, but offensively they've kind of been horrible, and nobody's really talking about it because they've won anyway. But the last 2 games that the Pelicans have played, each of those 2 games went below 184, and the total's at 235.5. It was against Memphis. They won 96-87. Played Portland, won 93-84. So ever since they gave up 139 to the Lakers, they've been really good defensively. And even if you want to ignore the Lakers game, only gave up 106 to the Clippers, gave up 100 to Toronto. This team defensively has been fine. Washington only gave up 112 to Dallas, gave up 119 to Philly, 114 to Cleveland. Both teams defensively have not been that bad. So I'm going to lean to the under, and I'll lean to the Wizards.
All right. I'm with you on the under. Like I said, I've talked about Washington. I feel like Washington's been playing better defensively. So this Washington team, I'm not ready to fade them right now. And it's so funny because why am I so willing to back a 9-win Washington team rather than back the Hawks or a lot of the other teams that I fade this season? But no, man, Washington, they're keeping games close and they're covering. That's all I ask.
Atlanta doesn't try to play defense. Washington's trying. And you can make an argument that even with all the trades and the moves that they've made and the injuries, Avdia's been really good recently. Kuzma's had some moments. Tyus Jones, I still like as an overall point guard. They have some guys with some trade value. The team's going to suck, but at least they have some guys who I know can step up and give you a decent game.
All right. Next up, Houston Rockets on the road going to play the Memphis Grizzlies. Houston laying 2.5 here. Open up 5.5, and now it's down 2.5. 218.5 is the total. That's up 3 points. Injury report for the Houston Rockets. And we have Reggie Bullock, questionable. Cam Whitmore is out. Fred VanVleet's out. Torrey Easton's out for the Grizzlies. Gigi Jackson is available after that random ass suspension. I didn't even look into why he got suspended. I don't know if it came out or not, but
there's just some team rule stuff. I don't know. My guess is he missed curfew or he showed up late for a practice or something, if I had to guess.
I believe it. He's like 19 too, so
that's what I'm saying. It was probably something minor, and they're like, "Well, we got to send him a message." So
we'll suspend him for a game. He gonna miss that check too, so he gonna miss that check. So he definitely might have learned his lesson there. All right, Derrick Rose is questionable. Zaire Williams is questionable. I didn't know that actually. Zaire Williams is questionable. Scottie Pippen Jr. is out. No Desmond Bane, no Marcus Smart, no Brandon Clark, no Jake Larovia.
Do you want to take Memphis? They've lost 9 straight.
Yeah, I do.
You do? Okay.
Yep, 100%. I do.
I want to hear the case.
They're competitive at home. they're competitive. This team never goes away, and I don't think Houston is the team that I'm sitting here saying that they're 100% going to go get a win. Like they're 100% going to beat this team. This Memphis team has a quality tier of opponents that they can be competitive / win games against, and it's typically towards the lower half of the tier. And so now we're getting them as a dog, no expectations. That -5, that random ass -5.5 against the Hornets was crazy. But now we're getting them back as a dog, no expectations here at home. They covered the line against the Pelicans last time out. They continue to find ways to cover games and be in games. They probably would have covered the Chicago game, but they ended up blowing that one late. I like Memphis early in this game. I think that this Houston team reeling off of that win against the Knicks. This is a nice bounce back spot. Well, not bounce back, but a nice letdown spot for Houston and a nice bounce back spot for Memphis going into the All-Star break with all the injuries that they do have. So defensively, I think Memphis is going to be tapped in, and it just takes Jaren Jackson Jr. having a major game that's going to be able to push them to a win, because I don't think either team is going to score much in this one. So I'm all over Memphis here in a bounce back spot. Memphis +2.5 on the money line at home.
Yeah, I like the under in general at 218.5. The issue with Houston is the fact that this team is 5-20 straight up on the road, but Memphis is 5-20 straight up at home, so I guess it's a wash. Houston has won the first 3 meetings, though, this season. They are 3-0, with each win coming by at least 7 points, including the last game late December, so it was a while ago, but it was in Memphis, and they did win by 7. I'm going to lean to Houston. I'm not going to back a team that's lost 9 straight. I feel like even if you want to make a case for Memphis, I can understand the argument being Houston being this bad on the road. 9 straight, though, with this many injuries, I can't do it. Memphis is a borderline G League team at this point, so I'm just going to lean to Houston.
Houston was playing with 3 additional players last game and still almost lost.
To be fair, though, the Knicks are a good team, to be fair. But
yes. So I don't think Lady Luck's going to be on their side in this game. This feels like a Memphis get up at home game.
I'm just going to keep saying a team that's lost 9 straight. But if Memphis wins, I wouldn't be totally shocked, but I'll take the number. I like Aldama props, though. I like his unders. He's been really bad lately.
I'm weak. I was just about to ask you about props. All right. Santi Andaba under. Why is my screen?
It's at 18.5 points and rebounds. He's gone under in 4 of 5. He had 6 points, 4 rebounds against the Pelicans last time out, so he was really bad in that game. I'm trying to see if there's PRA available. That's at 21.5. Nah, because he has some assists here and there. Yeah, I think it's just the PR. It was at 20.5 last game. Now it's down to 18.5, but I still think that he's in line to go under. 4 of the last 5, gone under in 15 of the last 20. I'll keep taking the unders with him. Look at his games against Houston. He's gone under in 7 straight PR against Houston. So give me Aldama under 18.5 PR.
All right. I will see your Aldama under, and I will raise you everybody's under.
Okay.
This is going to be an ugly game.
I figured you're going to be all over Dylan Brooks unders because he made every 3-pointer against the Knicks last game.
Yes, and it was actually really fucking annoying. Like, really annoying. He couldn't miss. Begging for a miss, couldn't miss. Yeah, no, I'm fading everybody. I think this is an ugly game. I think this is an ugly game. I think I'm sorry. I think Triple J and Şengün are gonna kind of counteract each other with the fact of he could probably have a pretty good defensive scheme against Şengün, but Şengün is also going to put him in foul trouble. So I just think that neither one of those are going to really have too many good games. Maybe Triple J has that big, 40 piece that he randomly has out of nowhere every few weeks or so, but I don't trust Jalen Green enough. Don't trust Dylan Brooks. Vince Williams is somebody that I like, so I can't say that on Vince Williams. But everybody else, Aldama, like kind of everybody. When I look at the props, I say, wow, I really don't like any of you guys to do anything today. So I just feel like this is an all under game. All right. Next game on the slate. San Antonio Spurs on the road. Going to play Dallas Mavericks. Dallas opened up -12. They are currently -11. 242.5 is total. Injury report here for the San Antonio Spurs. And Charles Bassey out for the season for the Dallas Mavericks. Luka, probable. Kyrie, probable. Derek Lively, questionable. Maxi Kleber, questionable. Dante Exum, out. Lane 11 with Dallas at home.
The Spurs had a great game last time out, but is that a one-off? We'll start there.
Potentially a one-off because it's Toronto. Toronto's really fucking bad. And I just don't I don't think the Spurs are holding anybody under 99 points 2 games in a row. I mean, under 100 points 2 games in a row. But
yeah,
it's Dallas at home. Dallas as a home favorite, and Dallas of a home favorite of 10 or more. It's kind of a phase spot.
The problem you run into, though, is the fact that Dallas was getting their ass kicked by the Wizards for a decent portion of that game before completely dominating the fourth quarter. The Wizards, though, we said, have been competitive, at least more so than the record indicates. So I do think that Dallas is a team that I still have a hard time wanting to lay this number with, but they are obviously the more talented team, and it's not even close. I think this line's really, really high, isn't it? 11.5. Like, I get it, but I don't know if I feel great going to the window with it. I don't feel great ever taking the Spurs, though. So, well, what do you think?
I'll take my shot.
Wait, your shot with what? Which side?
With Spurs. I'll take Spurs. Plus 11. I mean, come on. If Dallas is going to play defense and keep giving the Spurs opportunity, they could keep this close. Like they were really getting ran out the gym earlier in that game.
They were. I'm hoping that after that no-show for the first half or so, that they're going to show up with some motivation for the final game before the All-Star break. I'm going to lean Dallas, though. They've scored at least 126 in each of the first 2 meetings. They won the last meeting, the only meeting at home this season against San Antonio, 144-119. I'm going to lean over in this game. I see points, but I am going to lean to Dallas. They've won 5 straight. They've been good. Gafford's been great. So I just think that Dallas is going to win this game by 15.
Yeah, I'm on the other side. Give me the under in San Antonio. I think San Antonio's been playing better defense, and they're going to keep this one close. And so, is it going to be 99? No. Is it going to be 111, 115, 116, somewhere around there? Probably so. And they get a very narrow win. So, I'm going to go with San Antonio.
I think Dallas might score 130 tonight, but that's just my opinion.
Ooh, bounce back.
Yep.
All right. Play props. What you got?
We got to take Gafford, don't we?
I don't know how you can't.
I mean, he's been great. His line has been too low. I think his PR last game was 17.5, and
I think it was. It might have been 16.5.
Might have been. He absolutely crushed it, though. I had the double-double with plus 420. That got there easily. So I have to run it back with him. The Spurs give up a lot of points to opposing centers, which might sound a bit surprising because Wembanyama gets so many blocks per game. But it's because Wembanyama chases blocks, so he gives up a lot of offensive rebounds, and he sometimes loses containment on centers. Gafford's a good roamer. I am wondering, with Luka constantly running pick and rolls, are they going to switch Victor onto him, which might set up some opportunities, some drop passes to Gafford in the low block for some easy points. But I do think Gafford, when his points prop comes out, if it's not out already, I'd be tempted by the over there. Maybe rebounds if you want to go for that angle too. But I think Gafford's actually in line for a pretty decent game.
Yep. All right.
And look at triple doubles always in the queue, especially against San Antonio.
Oh yeah, for sure. Vassell. Back Vassell today. Wemby. Yeah, Wemby blocks was crazy the other day.
Yeah, just triple-double, 10.
Yeah, so insane. All right. And a Trey Jones assist line. Me and Trey Jones go over his assist today.
Okay.
Let's see. How many games we got left? Ooh, we still got 4 left. It's a huge slate today. Pause. All right. Los Angeles Lakers on the road. Going to play the Utah Jazz. Utah is laying 5.5. 240.5 is the total injury report. And we have no Braun for this Lakers team that played yesterday against the Pistons. Braun came out last night, said he is not going to play today. No Max Christie, Jaron Vanderbilt, Cam Reddish, Gabe Vincent. And clean injury report for the Utah Jazz.
LeBron wanted to start the All-Star break early, so
Yep.
he left. I mean, I'm going to ask you because you support the Jazz. They've been really bad lately.
Yeah, this is the bounce back. They destroy this Lakers team in Utah. This is the bounce back.
A part of me wants to take the Lakers at 5.5. I really don't like laying points with Utah. They've been better this year laying points than in previous years, but we've seen the Lakers step up on occasion. It was also without Anthony Davis, though, against the Celtics, where they came out and they won that game on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to lean the Lakers, but LeBron sitting does tell me maybe the Lakers just mentally packed it in.
Would you be leaning Lakers if you didn't take the Pistons yesterday? Because everybody and their mom was on the Pistons yesterday.
Well,
so if the Pistons let me change that. If the Pistons had covered that game, would you still be taking the Lakers in this spot?
I might, because the Jazz have been that bad. Like that's the problem that I run into. They had a nice. I mean, they've been pretty decent at home. Golden State killed them, but Golden State's been on fire. They beat OKC by 7, beat Milwaukee by 15.
Lost so what's that bad? I mean, the Philly loss is kind of bad.
Maxey had a 50 piece.
Yeah, they lost to Phoenix and they lost to Golden State, who's fucking scorching right now. But
yeah,
Utah minus 5.5. This is a lot. I'm probably gonna lock up Utah again. I know they just folded with me against Golden State, and I faded that hot Golden State team, but Utah at home versus the Lakers. They've covered 4 of the last 5 against the Lakers. They play this team tough all the time. There's no Braun. Lakers team actually really sucks, where I think Utah has a lot to be proud of. And you're getting Jordan Clarkson against the Lakers. Like,
I'm going to lean Lakers, but I'm probably not going to bet it. But I do like D'Lo props. LeBron's not playing, say less. D'Lo's taking 20 shots tonight. I'll take D'Lo props.
Utah is 18-7 ATS at home, 10-4 as a favorite this season.
Yeah, that's a lot better than they were in previous years. Last year they were useless as a favorite. But I'll lean to the Lakers. Not really a strong opinion. I'm not going to bet it.
Yeah,
I like the over though. I see points.
I think Utah. Yeah, I think Utah's going to score.
I think
Utah's going to run them out of the gym.
So I like the over.
All right. I'm on the over.
Last meeting, by the way, was 257. The only meeting in Utah. So 257, yeah, I'll take the over.
This is the perfect spot. Everybody starts playing Lakers today because they got the cover against the Pistons. Because everybody and their mom was on the Pistons. And this was the real day that you were supposed to fade the Lakers. It was today. So Utah minus 5.5. Player props. Anything else you like?
I mean, Anthony Davis rebounds is tempting, but it's a back-to-back, so we don't exactly know if AD is going to even show up mentally for this game. I mentioned D'Lo. I think D'Lo's in one for a good game. I'm still not the biggest fan of his, but he has been a lot better over the last month and change, but it's mostly based on volume. I just expect him to take a ton of shots. It's as simple as that. So I would look for D'Lo to have a good game. Maybe Reeves if you think he has a good game too. Do you like Laurie props? Who are you going with for Utah?
Utah, you look at his last 4 games against the Lakers. Well, we'll go last 5 games against the Lakers. Jordan Clarkson has 19, 20, 22, 7 in 24 minutes, and 21.
Okay. So you like Clarkson points. I don't mind Kessler blocks in this game. I think he might have a decent showing here. He's been starting. Very good rim protector. Yep. The concern is the foul trouble with AD, but I do like Kessler blocks if you want a block prop.
Yeah, I agree. I like that, but Clarkson was the first name that I had written down in the pseudo revenge game that he gets up for. He's had like a number of 20-point games against the Lakers. He's put up pretty good games against the Lakers in the past whenever he gets the opportunity. So, yeah, some of it's been up and down, but he's got boatload of opportunity with this Utah team. So I think that he's going to go ahead and be able to get it done. All right. I'm going to parlay that. Jordan Clarkson in Utah.
Okay.
It might be a play later today. All right. Also on a back-to-back. Detroit Pistons. Wow, they have 8 wins.
Yeah. They won a couple like a week or two ago.
No, I know. I mean, I know, but it's like when you look at it, it's like, oh, hey, you're so close to not being the worst team in the league. Like you're right there.
Well, they were on the losing streak, and I believe their live win total for the season was 8.5. So They're on the
I
cusp.
told people, I think it was at 10.5 when I told people to jump in and bet the over when Killian Hayes got cut. I think it was at 10.5 then.
Mhm.
So sweating out 3 more wins rest of the season, but no Killian Hayes. Pretty sure we can get there. All right. That Pistons team is going up against Suns. Suns are laying 13 in the Valley. 236.5 is total injury report for these two teams. And we have for the Detroit Pistons. We'll see a TBD on Cade Cunningham. He might sit because of injury management. Quentin Grimes didn't play, so TBD there. No beef stew. Thaddeus Young just got signed to the Suns, so he may play, may not. Bradley Beal is not playing in this game. He left that game yesterday early with the hamstring injury. And no Damian Lee. Looking at both of these two teams and how they play on no rest. 3-6 ATS for the Detroit Pistons and Phoenix towards the top of the league, no rest. 6-2 straight up. 6-2 straight up. Yes, 6-2 straight up, 3-6 straight up for the Pistons. I'm sorry, that was not ATS numbers. Those were straight up numbers. 6-2 straight up for the Suns and 3-6 straight up for the Pistons. ATS, however, this Phoenix team is wherever I find them at. 4-4. 4-4 ATS, and the Pistons are 5-4. So, okay. All right. Pistons are better against the spread than they are straight up on the back-to-back. Inverse for the Phoenix Suns. What are you doing here, laying 13 in the Valley?
Yeah, I lost to the Pistons last night. I'm taking the Pistons. This line's too big. I told myself as I was watching the Suns and Kings game, and I saw that they were both playing on Wednesday, I'm fading both these teams. That game must have been exhausting. It was a hell of a basketball game, bunch of points, a lot of pace. I just think before the All-Star break, both teams mentally have checked out for the final game on Wednesday. The Suns, Beal's out. We saw Booker dominate the fourth quarter. Durant had 28. A shout out to him. He helped cash the underdog lineup that or entry that Munaf and I had. But I do think that it's a bad spot for Phoenix. You won a game, very competitive. Now you're against the bottom feeder. They're going to no-show this game. I feel like
before the All-Star break, 100%
no
show.
100%
no show.
They might be live to win this game.
100% no show.
I'm going to lean to the Pistons. They lost to the Lakers by 14. It happens, I tried with 10.5. They fell a bit short. But it's a big spread. If Phoenix was not on a back-to-back, I'd consider it. But with this team, an older team on a back-to-back with that much pace against Sacramento, I can't back Phoenix. It's either Detroit or pass.
Monty coming back to the Valley.
I forgot about that too.
I know that they played earlier this season. That's back when this Pistons team was on a historic losing streak and Killian Hayes was a part of the roster. I would love for Cade to play this game to make me feel better about this. But I've seen this Pistons team go cover double digits and win without Cade. So we're just going to trust them.
They've won each of the last two. They've won each of the last 3 games that Cade has not played in, for the record.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a whole separate conversation to be had about Cade, which I'm not going to get into now because we're at the hour and 13-minute mark. I'm not a big Cade guy. Let's put it that way.
Interesting. All right, 236 is the total player props. Anything else you want to add to this one?
No, not really. If Cade does not play, give me all the Ivy props. And I like Duran rebounds. And that's basically it. You have anything?
I might be.
Phoenix might sit some guys. It wouldn't shock me if they sat a guy or two.
Yeah. Yeah, it really wouldn't. I mean,
like KD.
Why would you?
Been up there? Why? It wouldn't shock me if KD sat today.
And they really don't have the bench depth.
No. Shout out to Royce O'Neal though. Had a solid big 3-pointer late in that game.
I think he played like 30. He played like 30 minutes last night.
I think so, but they got him, and I think he's technically a bench player for them now. But he was solid last night.
I want to know I'm trying to figure out who the backcourt I want to back if Cade doesn't play.
It would be Ivy. I mean, you're assuming Sasser gets promoted to the starting lineup. So maybe Sasser threes if you're tempted by that, but Ivy should just have the ball in his hands all the time.
I think I'll go with Sasser threes because he's when he was getting minutes, he was just jacking up threes, man. I might go with Sasser threes. I kind of like that look. we'll talk about it later. All right. Let's see here. We have for the next game on the slate, a rematch from last week. The Sacramento Kings are on the road going to play the Denver Nuggets in Denver. Denver is laying 229.5 is total. Injury report here, and we have Trey Lyles still has that illness. Didn't play yesterday. We'll see if he plays today. For the Nuggets, Jamal Murray is unlikely to play. KCP unlikely to play.
So if Murray's out, are we just blindly taking Jokic triple-double?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, is it even plus money at this point? Why would it be plus money and Murray's out? I don't know why.
It might be like a slight plus money, like plus 110, but I'll check. I don't see any props available since they haven't posted lines yet. But we saw the Kings kill this team. They were actually my lock for Friday. I had the Kings minus 1.5, and they killed the Nuggets. But it was a bad spot. Denver was in a war against the Lakers the day prior, so I think it was the Lakers. But the point is, they had a tough.
Is this the revenge spot?
They're so
Sacramento
good
was just in a war with the Suns the day prior. Now they're getting like it seems like a perfect revenge spot.
Exact role reversal. I said a second ago I was going to fade both the Suns and the Kings on Wednesday because I just think that emotionally and physically it took a lot out of them. Sacramento's falling apart. They're the 8th seed now. The Mavericks passed them.
Oh
so
shit!
I think the Kings are going to miss the playoffs. I think they're going to lose in the play-in bracket, in the play-in tournament. So I don't like this team at all. How do you get 97 points from Fox, Sabonis, and Monk and you still lose? Sabonis gave you 35, and you still lost. I can't take Sacramento. Give me Denver to bounce back. I think it's a good scheduling spot. I'll take Jokic to have a masterclass.
Yep. Feels very, very chalk, but it's the way to go. It's literally the inverse of that last game. Like Sacramento was just in a war. The only thing that would have made this better is if Sacramento won the game. That's the only thing that would have made this better if they won the game.
But they had a lot of guys who played a lot of minutes, and that's a bit of a problem. In altitude, on a back-to-back, in altitude, that's rough.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Plus travel, too. Yeah. All right. 229.5. Player props, anything you want to add?
I don't have any props listed. They haven't listed anything.
Oh, yeah.
So.
We'll see who plays. I think the Jamal Murray stuff is really, but yeah. I still think, I mean, Jokic is enough for me, honestly. Jokic is enough for me for them to somehow, some way find a way to get this done. This is just a really good spot.
I'll link to Aaron Gordon points. If I'm picking Jokic assists, it's going to be mostly rim running from Gordon and maybe MPJ threes. So I don't mind looking at Gordon to attack the rim, get some free lobs, some free cuts back door. I think he's in a line for a decent game.
Eddie is in the chat talking about altitude, lungs burning. Eddie is a smoker. I'm telling you, like Eddie is a smoker. He be on that happy Eddie. All right. Los Angeles Clippers on the road going to play the Golden State Warriors. Clippers open up -1.5. It's now Warriors -3. 234.5 is total. Injury report for these two teams. And we have for the Clippers, no Kawhi. PJ Tucker left the team because he wasn't playing. And Bones Highland not with the team either because he wasn't playing.
I just want to know what happened to his shoes.
Oh, he's got a whole house full of them.
No, I'm just saying, though, if he left the team, are they still keeping the shoes at the facility? That's a big shoe closet.
I'm like, good question. He probably took them with him. He has an assistant that handles it. You know, he said that he has that house that's like off the reservation somewhere with just shoes in it. And he just tells his assistant, hey, can you go in there and get me this, this, and this? And the dude just does it. I wonder how much that pays.
It's a good question.
I would 100% do that job. Just go get his shoes for him? Hell yeah, for sure.
It's a lot of shoes for a guy that has not played in about 2 months. Just saying. It's a lot of shoes in the closet.
Hey, man, sneakerhead. All right.
Just said at the team facility. He's not playing any of these games. He has way too many pairs of sneakers at the facility.
Golden State has battled their way back to above 500.
This might be a playoff team.
Whoa! Bro, Scott, I can't take you serious sometimes, man.
I know. They might be.
I can't take you serious. You literally was just
I still
you
think
were
they should
just
have
cooking
sold
this
off.
team.
They should have sold this team off at the deadline. I'm still committed to that belief, but they're going to go for it. Their schedule is very easy in the second half. So I do think that they're looking at what could be a decent opportunity. The Kings are falling apart. We'll see what happens with the rest of the Western Conference at the bottom. But it's been up in the air. And Golden State's played some good basketball. They're playing Clay less minutes. I know he was good last game, but Bajemski's been good. Kuminga's been great. Draymond's been unbelievable since he came back from suspension. And Curry, we know is Curry. I'm assuming you're taking Golden State. Do you want to take the Clippers without Kawhi? Because I don't.
I mean, my question was, I was really questionable on, hey, is this team actually really bad without Kawhi, or is that just kind of a one-off game where they didn't play well?
Selective recall, I think they were a lot worse without Kawhi, and it's not even close. Selective recall, though. I can pull up the record with Kawhi not playing because he's actually played in a lot of games this season.
I mean, it would mean the world for Golden State to carry this winning streak into the All-Star break and not lose that last game. But weird stuff be happening before the All-Star break.
They're 2-2 without Kawhi. Having said that, the two wins were against the Grizzlies and the Hornets at home. So they were against bottom feeders. They lost by 37 to Boston, and they lost by 19 to OKC. So against two decent teams, they ended up getting run out of the building. Against two bad teams, they won. So I don't know if that tells you anything or not.
All right. I'll go Golden State.
All right.
They've been playing really well. Like it's not a reluctance in going Golden State. It's just Clippers have not covered the last 3 games. Kind of feels like they're a little bit due, and that would be the motivational factor that they need going into the All-Star break. Is that, hey, Markelle Fultz is out, by the way. That's what that notification was.
Okay.
Markelle Fultz is out on Wednesday. So
well, you got me the rebound, so thank you for your service, Markelle Fultz.
I'll go Golden State. I'm not going to bet this one, but I'm going to go Golden State.
Yeah.
234.5 player props. What you got?
For the total in this one, it's a bit tricky because Kawhi's such a good defensive player, and he has definitely turned the clock back defensively. So based on that, he's just so valuable on both sides, though. So you can argue that it helps and hurts the totals because he's good defensively, but he's also their best offensive player. So I think I'm going to lean under. I think I'm going to lean under here. They faced off 3 times this season. 2 of the 3 meetings landed exactly at 234. All 3 games went under. I think I'm going to lean under in the spot. It just feels like this line's a little bit high. I think it lands somewhere around like 230, but 234.5 feels a little bit steep. So I'll lean under.
Yeah, the Clippers been one of the hottest shooting teams in the league for a little while now, actually. Been one of the better 3-point shooting teams, been scoring a bunch of points, but I think it's time for them to regress in the scoring market just a little bit. This Golden State team's been playing very, very well defensively. 107 to Utah is pretty fucking good. 112 to the Suns, 109 to Indiana. In Indiana, 104 to Philly, but Philly was kind of missing people. 94 to Brooklyn. Like that, they kind of built their confidence over this run, and it's been leaning on the defense. So I'm gonna say that they just stick to that.
Draymond's been great.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that they stick to it again. So give me a Clippers team total under. Oh wait, wrong button. Go back. There we go. Under 116.5.
116, yeah, give or take.
116.5. There you go.
I agree.
All right. Any player props? Anything you want to add, or can we move on?
We can move on, but Curry threes I'm tempted by. I think that James Harden's going to have the ball in his hands more. Maybe Paul George threes. George, I think, is going to be in line for a lot of shot attempts. So, no, it's mostly just trying to expect the usual from Golden State, which is Curry having a big game against the Clippers and probably expecting Harden and Paul George to take almost every shot for this team. So,
Baines McDouglas said Draymond PRA. It's been really good.
All right. I don't know about the points, but I don't mind the rebounds and assists.
Lock, dog, underdog contest. For my lock, Utah -5.5. This Lakers team fucking sucks.
Okay.
It's in Utah. Utah's so due. They're so due, and it's before the All-Star break. This Lakers team is going without LeBron plus travel on a back-to-back. Like, this is such a spot. Utah is going to drag them. Utah by 10. So Utah minus 5.5. I'm going back to Utah in the well there for my dog. Man, fuck this shit.
I don't know what that means. You going Siakam? What does that mean?
Pistons 6-1.
Okay.
Go out there and get a fucking win. Go get a fucking win, man. Get me closer to that 10.5 win total. Hopefully somebody sits. The 32 and 22. Somebody might sit. Somebody might sit. It's a back-to-back. They went to war. Went to fucking war. And guess what? I remember a few years ago, somebody on here, it was ironically against the Utah Jazz at that time.
That's why I got the
Pistons as a huge dog. Took the Pistons as a huge dog, and they came through, and it was this exact same line of 6-1. Pistons get it done. Pistons on the money line, 6-1. I'm feeling spicy today.
All right. For my lock, I'm going to go back to the Cavs game. Give me Mitchell threes. I'll take the over 3.5 3-pointers. Tough to go against when Chicago's that bad at guarding the 3-point line. You might see Caruso not play, and he's their best defensive player. But Mitchell for threes, he's gone over quite regularly against the Bulls and just in general over the last couple of games. To quickly go through those stats once again for Mitchell, just pulling up the threes quickly. So for the threes, Chicago, one of the worst at actually guarding it. He's gone over this number in 7 of the last 10, gone over in 5 of the last 6. Against the Bulls, he's gone over in 2 of the last 3. So I do think that 3.5 threes at minus 125 is a good number. I'll go with the over on that for my lock. For my dog, yeah, screw it. Let's have some fun. Give me Hornets money line against the Hawks.
Yes. I was hoping so we could parlay them.
Yeah, let's parlay them. It should be fun. I can't trust Atlanta in general. Charlotte's been decent. They traded away Gordon Hayward. They've won a couple of games, beat Indiana, only gave up 102 to the Pacers, which I like. Atlanta also has no centers. Fernando's the only guy they got, but I don't mind Charlotte money line at about plus 220.
20-1. Charlotte and the Pistons, 2 wins. We just need 2 wins for 20-1. That's it. Man,
I can't back Atlanta.
If we get some outs on the Pistons on the Suns side, this is going to be a fucking steal.
Yeah,
because their bench is a little horrid.
Thaddeus Young though, they got reinforcements showing up.
Gary Harris is out on Wednesday too.
Okay.
All right. Underdog. Let's see.
Well, Manop and I won yesterday, so hopefully we keep it rolling.
All right. Hey. Okay, let's see here. What do we want to throw in underdog today?
I like Mitchell threes if you want to start there.
Yeah, that was your lot. Let's get that in there. Well, no, we can't. They don't have threes listed.
Do they have points?
28.5.
I'll take the higher on.
Higher on 28.5 points for Donovan Mitchell today. Where's that Atlanta game? How do we want to back this game today? We got Bay, 6.5 rebounds. Could do Richards. Could do Trey Man assists.
Do they have Trey Man? Do they have Trey Man RA or they only have assists?
They do not. Yes, they do have RA 11.
It's at 11. I was hoping it was at 10.5. I don't mind it though. I mean, he had 9 rebounds, 7 assists last game, and we know Atlanta gives up a ton of points to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go with the Trey Man RA?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
All right, RA for Trey Man. We need one more.
Well, if DiVincenzo is going to be questionable, do you want to go for like Josh Hart rebounds or something?
I could go
maybe
for a Josh
Hart rebounds.
I could go for a Josh Hart PRA. I could go for anything. He's going to play 40 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. He played every minute of the second half against Houston.
Well, they don't have anything for Josh Hart listed.
Okay, that's unfortunate. I'm trying to think of what else there is. Do you want a Siakam revenge spot?
We could
what
do
else
Siakam
is there?
revenge spot. We could go after Gafford again.
Wait, they have Gafford?
No, they don't. I lied. I'm
That's what I
sorry.
thought. Okay,
I'm sorry. I didn't
it's
mean
fine.
that. I didn't mean that.
No, decent amount of
Where's
games don't
Jokic?
have
Hey,
official ones.
where's Denver? Is Denver's game up here?
That's a good call.
Oh, it's not up here.
They don't have it either. But I'm trying to think of what else there is because a lot of these games don't officially have ones.
Luca, we can go for Indiana, Toronto. We see points. Let's go with that. We see points in that game. Let's go with that one.
You
So
want
I
to just
guess
go
we can.
Halliburton? You want to go Halliburton assist? Just play it simple.
Oh yeah, don't even doubt it. Halliburton assists 11.5.
Yeah,
So
sure.
we have Donovan Mitchell higher 28.5 points. We have Trey Mann higher 11 rebounds and assists, and we have Tyrese Halliburton higher 11.5 assists. Put that in the underdog 6-1. $50 gets you $300. Make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN. NBA SGPN for new customers. You can get 100% deposit bonus up to $100 over at Underdog Fantasy. Promo code NBA SGPN. Scott, anything else for people before we get up out of here?
No. Go Pistons, go Hornets.
All right. Appreciate that. Go Pistons, go Hornets, man. 20-1. Let's fucking go. All right. Let's see. 75 people watching us live right now. Make sure you guys like the video on the way out. 69 in the YouTube chat. Nice. Appreciate it. Like the video on the way out. And for all those that are listening to us wherever you get your podcasts, make sure that, hey, 5-star rating and review. Appreciate it. You can say good things, say bad things. It's okay, but just leave a 5-star rating and review. Help us support the show. This is a free show, so just support the show and help us. And help us, help you, help you, help us. Yeah, pretty much. All right. Other than that, I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending podcast. We're just going to end it like this. We are out of here.